Hello, and welcome to this introduction to the Smithsonian Learning Lab. I'm Philippa Rappaport, a woman with short brownish hair in a yellow room.
And I'm Tess Porter, a woman with long, dark hair sitting in a room covered in art.
We are from the Smithsonian Learning Lab. Here's the homepage of the Learning Lab. The lab is a free online platform for teachers and students to discover digital museum resources, create interactive learning experiences with them, and share these discoveries and creations with others. You can use the lab to find museum resources to use in your teaching, whether that takes place online or offline. You can also use it as a platform to create digital interactive learning experiences. You don't need an account to access resources and learning experiences on the platform. If you do register for an account, though, you can use the lab to create interactive learning experiences of your own. During this video, we're going to give a quick introduction to the lab, what it is, how it works, and how you can begin using it to support student learning.
The lab is built to support discovery, creation, and sharing. On the lab, you can discover a few different things. You can discover what we call resources, which include things like artifacts, photographs, artwork, primary source documents, video and audio recordings, articles, and more. These come from all the Smithsonian's museums and centers. Here's just one example of what a resource on the lab looks like. I've moved to another live page on the lab, and the screen now shows the artwork titled The Return to Aztlan, a colorful painted mosaic depicting the names and faces of multiple Mexican and Mexican-American civil rights leaders, including Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Emilio Zapata. You can zoom in to see detail, and there are buttons on the left that will help you interact with the resource in a few different ways, including the information button at the top, which I just clicked. Clicking this button shows authoritative information about the resource from the museum that holds it.
You can also discover learning experiences, what we call collections. Collections are aggregations of resources for learning. Anyone can create a collection, teachers and students. We've seen people use the lab in various ways, and we'll show you two examples today. The screen now shows a student activity collection created by Ashley Naranjo, an educator at the Smithsonian. And this collection focuses on just a few resources. Here, a primary source, letter written by Yasuo Kuniyoshi to George Biddle. And this resource is an entry point to explore Japanese American incarceration during World War II. The screen shows rows of image thumbnails. Each of these images is a resource that you can click on to view in greater detail. On some of them, there are also little paper clips in the corner. That means that the author has added some annotations, text, highlights, and questions to enhance the activity. When you click on this first tile, you'll see three types of annotations, but four of them. There's a text on the first one, which is just the text of the letter. The second one is hotspots. So if you were to hover on those hotspots, you would see the text of the letter. And then some quiz questions in the third. And then the last one is more information. So you can explore this collection more on your own, and you'll see other ways to deepen engagement with the content. You'll also see that you can pull in outside resources and also upload your own content. This next collection is by Matthew Decker, who teaches English and writing composition at Montgomery College. And this is really a gallery of student artifacts, represented again by rows of image thumbnails. Each tile here represents the contribution of one student with an uploaded object and then the student's explanatory text that contextualizes their object within the exhibition. You can click on each tile to see and read their narrative. So you can see on the screen here, the narrative is on the left. This student exhibition was used as an introductory activity to prepare students for a visit to the museum, but it's also great as an activity to build community in your classroom, regardless of the grade level or subject area.
There are multiple tools in the Learning Lab to help you create collections like the ones Philippa just shared. As we saw, you can add interactivity through things like hotspots and questions. You can also upload external resources, whether they're from your own computer or another website, into a collection you're creating. You can also copy and adapt a collection that someone else has created to fit your own learning needs. Finally, you can share your discoveries and creations with others. If you want to share, use the share button. 3 interconnected circles. When looking at collections, this button is found near the top of the page. I'm hovering over it now. So how does one begin to use the lab to find resources and build collections? You'll first want to search for resources to use in creating your collection. To search, navigate to the search bar, which you'll find at the top of every page. Let's search for the term civil rights. The search results page shows that there are over 2,000 resources and 200 collections on this topic. The results page is first showing me resources, each one represented by an image thumbnail. I can click on one of these thumbnails to view the resource in greater detail, just as we saw in the collections earlier in this video. To narrow my search to something more manageable, I can use the refined search filters on the left side of the screen to narrow by things like resource type, provider, and more. Let's narrow this search by image resources, which will bring me artifacts, artwork, and photographs, and the National Portrait Gallery. Once I click the blue Update Search button near the top of the screen, the lab will narrow my search for me, and I can see that I've received just over 180 resources, which is much more manageable.
Once you have a resource you know you want to use, you can start building your collection. So let's use this portrait of Leah Chase, a restaurateur, chef, and prominent civil rights activist. To create a collection from this resource, click on the Add to Collection button. That's the one that's second from the top on the left, and it's several successive boxes with a plus sign in the middle. Once you click on that, you can follow the prompts to continue creating your collection. This is just a brief introduction to the lab. You can also get step-by-step instructions at the Help Center, which is showing on the screen now. These step-by-step instructions include how to search for resources and collections, how to create collections, how to add interactivity, and much, much more. There are also demonstration videos to help you get started making collections. Anything you need is there. And you can always just explore the resources themselves in the lab to find inspiration as you figure out how you might want to build your lessons.
If you'd like to learn more about the Learning Lab and hear tips for using the platform from educators, be sure to attend our Smithsonian Technology Cafe session at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, July 27th. You can also reach out to us at learninglab@si.edu if you need any support. See you in the lab.